Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. Today I wanted to share with you Noah's autopsy report, the official documents and paper, so we see it word for word and what it actually said. Whilst we have looked at a news article not long ago, to see it officially, it can become a lot clearer. We can also check for additional details which may have not been mentioned previously in the informal news updates, and see if it does correlate to what some in the community have been stating about additional injuries sustained to Noah Presgrove. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. I'm going to get straight into it right now. Here we are. It reads, Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. I will zoom in because some of the text is very hard to read. So just zoom in here. I will read it out to you in case you still can't see it. Board of Mediological Investigations, Office of Chief Medical Examiner, Central Office, Eastern Division. Mention some bits of info there. Office use only. Okay, correct the copy of the original document, valid when the copy bears print, whatever. Report of investigation by medical examiner. This is where we get onto the interesting details. Okay, the person that's passed away, known as Noah Alexander Nichols, Noah Presgrove, as we know him. At the time, age 19, birth date 5th to 14th, 2004, race, white, gender, male. And it gives some additional details there, which we don't need to focus on too much. The examiner notified by name, title, Trooper Zach Wright, Oklahoma Highway Patrol. I think we've heard that name before, Zach. The date, 9th of the 4th, 2023. The time, 7:31. Injured or became ill at address unknown. City blank, county blank, type of premises, date unknown, time unknown. Location of death, city, Terrell, county, Jefferson. Type of premises, highway. Right, okay, this is very important. People were wondering the location of the death and maybe some key information about it. The death location of Noah Presgrove on the highway. The date, 9th of the 4th, 2023, found. Take in mind, for anyone outside of the US, the dates are the other way around. They've been flipped about. So when it says the 9th of the 4th, 2023, 9th month, the 4th day, September 4, 2023. That's when he was found. As for the time, found at 6:18 a.m. in the morning. So I'm assuming the reason why they're saying 6:18 is when the official people came on down at the scene. I mean, it was 5:53 when a truck driver reported it into the highway patrol, the Oklahoma police, whatever you want to call them, 5:53. Give a bit of time for the actual authority and key people to come on down and then be made aware of Noah's body. 6:18 a.m. Okay. Body viewed by medical examiner. Okay, city Oklahoma, county Oklahoma, autopsy lab, and that occurred the 9th September the 5th, 2023, a day later at 1300 hours, going into the afternoon. Transportation injury. Okay, I get this. Was it a driver? Was it a passenger? No, it was a pedestrian, because Noah was found by himself, no vehicles on the side of the highway. Type of vehicle is classified as other, also known as unknown. And I guess it means what was found or what was lacking or what could have been the cause for the death. And that's why it says unknown. And then it goes on to say the description of body, external physical examination, ticks, arms, legs, complete. Rigor. Does that mean rigor mortis? Liver. Colour, pink, purple, posterior. The colour of the skin. Is that what it's assuming? External observation, beard, stubble, hair brown, eye colour brown, moustache stubble, opacities none, pupils, right 5, is that MIM or MM, L 5 mm, Body length 73 inches, body weight 175 pounds. Blood, nose, mouth, ears, other, none are ticked. Significant observations and injury documentations, please use space below. Decedent, who was found on the side of a highway on September the 4th, 2023, died of multiple blunt force injuries. Now, let's move on, unless there was any additional details there. There you go, medical examiner. I hereby state that after receiving notice of the death described herein, I conducted an investigation as to the cause and manner of death as required by law, that the facts contained herein regarding such death are true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Date case initiated, September 4th, 2023. Date case finalised on the 29th. The 4th of the 29th, 2024. Okay, more relevant to this year, I understand. Taken some time to finalise it, right? Let's move on. I'll zoom in again for anyone wondering. Start towards the top. Board of Mediological Investigations, Office of Chief Medical Examiner. Report of autopsy. Noah Alexander Nichols, Noah Presgrove, age 19. Date birth, yeah, we've seen all that before. Yep, okay, here we go. Let's look at the findings. 1. Multiple blunt force injuries, head and neck. Abraded avulsion laceration on the left top of the head. Subjacent abrasions on the lateral left eyebrow, corner of the left eye, left cheek, front of the left ear, with associated lacerations, and left side of the neck. Abrasions on the right back of the head, behind the right ear and subjacent posterior right neck. Broken upper and lower teeth with abrasions on the midline mucosa of the upper lip and laceration on the midline mucosa of the lower lip. Laceration on the left surface of the tongue. Subcutaneous scalp and subgulal hemorrhages on the parietal, occipital, bilateral, temporal, and left frontal regions of the head. That's a mouthful. Left temporalis muscle laceration and hemorrhage. Fractures of the left parietal, temporal, and frontal bones. Basal skull fractures splitting the middle base of skull into two. Anterior and posterior, and extending to the left temporal and sphenoid bones around the occipital bone. Additional separate fractures of the occipital bone extending into the edges of the foramen magnum and occipital condyles. Subdural hemorrhage of approximately 20 millimeters bilateral. What's that say? Subarachnoid hemorrhage. Swelling of the brain with lacerations at the interior surface and left temporal lobe, brainstem, and its adjacent cerebral vessels and left cerebellum. Cervical neck fracture at C1, C2, C6, and C7. Misalignment of C1 and occipital condyle pneumocallis and pneumoricus. Continued on page 2. Cause of death, multiple blunt force injuries. Manner of death, undetermined. Manner of death, cause of death, undetermined. Very interesting. But the injuries, blunt force. And you think, well, what could have caused blunt force? The usage of a weapon, a tool, baseball bat, things like that. Moving on to the next lot of findings. On the torso area of Noah, broad abrasions on the upper back containing black material. Abrasions showing combined linear and varicized pinpoint to round to irregular individual patterns involving the left upper back, shoulder, posterior left arm, and left side of the torso. Abrasions on the right buttock. Abrasion with the varicized pinpoint to round to irregular abrasions on the side of the left buttock. Lacerations at the right and left lungs with contusions, left pulmonary vessels, left atrium at the heart, spleen and proximal stomach, soft tissue hemorrhage of the posterior upper chest cavity, bilateral hemophorus of at least 1,200 milliliters in toto. Okay, we've got hemopericardium of at least 150 milliliters, hemoperitoneum of at least 200 milliliters, bilateral scapular fractures, bilateral posterior rib fractures as follows: 1 right, 1 to 5 and 8 ribs, 2 left, 2 to 5 ribs, 3 thoracic vertebrae fractures, T1, T2, T4, T9 and T11, bilateral pneumophoresis with left more than the right. Extremities: abrasions on the right arm and forearm, left elbow, thighs, knees, legs and right foot, side of right ankle and side of the right hip. Contusion on the back of the right heel, no evidence of fractures. Opinion given: in consideration of the circumstances surrounding the death, autopsy examination and toxicology result, the death of Noah Alexander Nichols is due to multiple blunt force injuries. The dissident was found naked, wearing only a pair of shoes on the side of a highway on the morning of September 4th, 2023. There were no vehicle parts or debris observed on the scene at this time. What transpired on how the body was found on the road having multiple blunt force injuries is unknown. Therefore, the manner of death is deemed undetermined. So, the reason why this is very important, this is official. This is the official autopsy report, and it clearly states that no shorts were on Noah Presgrove at the time when they got there. But before that, before they got there, Kaden Pressy was saying he saw the black shorts on Noah's body. So what the hell happened in between that? Is someone lying? Or there's someone in the background that's been responsible for tampering with the body? It has to be the case. And you know what I'm going to do? When times like this occur, we're going to get a screenshot. And the reason why we're going to get a screenshot, this needs to be compared to what Kaden Pressy has said not long ago. Okay? So when people do see that screenshot, they need to refer back to this video so people know what it's about. Now, let's just continue on this for now, at least. Hopefully that's clear enough there. Start from the top. Case number. An autopsy was performed on the body of Noah Presgrove at the office of the Chief Medical Examiner at Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, on September 5th, the day after, 2023, at 1300 hours. Circumstances of death. The dissident was a 19-year-old male who was found on the southbound side of a highway by a passing truck driver on September 4th, 2023 at approximately 5:53 a.m. in the morning. So that's been confirmed as a fact. That ties in with the timeline of what we've heard of. That's good. Noah Presgrove was naked and was only wearing unmatching shoes. There was a pair of shorts found several feet from the dissident and was reported to be his. Now, Kaden said the shorts were on Noah at the time when he saw him. So that's very weird, isn't it? Okay. Additionally, there were 3 pieces of a white metal chain as well as part of a tooth present several feet from the descendant. So the reason why there was some chain found near him is because at the party he was actually wearing some kind of necklace. Okay. Additionally, a clump of hair was observed on the right buttock without blood or tissue. Bit odd. The paved highway consisted of 2 lanes with shoulders on both sides and a speed limit of 65 miles per hour. The highway was poorly lit at night. There were no vehicle parts or debris observed at the scene. Further investigation revealed that the decedent was at the house party and drinking on September 3rd, 2023. That's talking about Noah Presgrove being at the party on September 3rd drinking. Then he rode an ATV Ranger vehicle with several men that had rolled over. Incident the decedent was alive following the incident and returned to the party where he got into an argument with his girlfriend. But he didn't have a girlfriend then. The decedent left the house party and was not found until the morning of September 4th, 2023 on the side of the highway. There you go. Identification. Subsequent scientific identification of the decedent was made by visual tag. External examination. The body was received sealed with a seal number 1422735 along with the Oklahoma Office of Chief Medical Examiner identification tag. The body was that of a normally developed and nourished Caucasian male appearing about the recorded age of 19 years. The body measured 73 inches in length and weighed 175 pounds, BMI being 23.1. Would that be considered overweight? Probably not, but you never know. Rigor mortis was complete. The pink-purple livor mortis was present posteriorly and fixed except in areas exposed to pressure. The body was received wearing only an unmatched pair of shoes. The right shoe was a Hey Dude brand with a speed lacing shoelace containing minimal debris and grass inside. That's very interesting, that grass inside of the shoe. The left shoe was an Adidas, also known as Adidas, brand with a regular tied shoelace containing more debris and grass inside. There was no observable damage to the shoes. Also received were 3 separate brown bags labelled as followed. Shorts containing a pair of white printed shorts without observable damage. Yet Kaden said the shorts were black. So something must have happened in between them, right? I think we'll have to get a screenshot of this as well. So white shorts without damage. White metal chain containing 3 pieces of white metal chains and tooth containing a broken half of a tooth consistent with a molar tooth. The scalp hair was brown. The eyes had white sclerae, pale conjunctivae, and brown iridis, having a 5mm dilation of the right and left pupils respectively. There was no evidence of petechiae hematoma injuries or lesions present. The dentition was natural. There was stubble. There was no evidence of, we saw that identified in oral mucosa. There was no masses discernible in the neck, and the larynx was in the midline. The thorax was symmetrical. The abdomen was flat. The external genitalia were those of a normal adult, circumcised male. There was drying artifacts of the scrotum. The back and extremities showed no significant deformities. There was a drawing in black ink of a stick figure person on the side of the right thigh. There was a cluster of parallel linear scars on the posterior left arm and elbow. There were additional scars of different shapes on the rest of the extremities. There were scabs present on the right upper lip and palmar surface of the right thumb and index finger. There were scabs and healed abrasions on the right side of the nose, back of the right hand, including the 3rd through 5th knuckles. I think we might have seen that in the party footages for the knuckles. Middle phalanges of the index to the 5th fingers and distal phalanx of the middle finger. There were healed abrasions on the lower back of the left hand, including the 5th knuckle and middle phalanx of the 5th finger, posterior left ankle, medial heel of the left foot, and dorsum of the left foot. There was a round healing ulcer on the posterior right thigh. There was drying of the palmar surface of the hands. There was skin slippage and bullae on the right upper back and left knee. There was a cluster of 10 horizontal linear interrupted abrasions on the left abdomen, swabs, oral, penile, and anal. Hair, scalp, pubic hair, fingernail clippings, and photographs were obtained. There you go. Quite a lot mentioned there. Let me know your thoughts. We've got a little bit more here to read out. Evidence of treatment. There was no evidence of treatment. Evidence of post-mortem tissue donation. There was no evidence of a post-mortem tissue donation. Evidence of injury, multiple blunt force injuries. A, head and neck. External examination revealed a 4-inch by 2-inch abraded avulsion laceration having a fish-like appearance. Now, some people were saying a fish-like appearance could be the end of the stock of a gun, a rifle. That's what some people were saying. Nevertheless, having drying artifact on the left frontoparietal scalp with exposure of the bone. There were subjacent abrasions on the lateral left eyebrow, corner of the left eye and left cheek, front of the left ear with associated lacerations on the antihelix and concha and left side of the neck. There were abrasions on the right back of the head, behind the right ear and subjacent posterior right neck. There was blooding coming out from the right and left ears. The upper and lower teeth were broken with a few fragments found inside the mouth. There were white abrasions on the midline mucosa of the upper lip. There was a laceration on the midline mucosa of the lower lip. There was laceration of the tongue at the left ventral surface. Internal examination revealed the subcutaneous scalp and corresponding subgaleal hemorrhages on the parietal, occipital, bilateral, temporal and left frontal regions of the head. There was left temporalis muscle laceration and hemorrhage. There was fracture at the left parietal, temporal and frontal bones. There was a fracture of the base of the skull that ran across the lateral end of the petrous ridge and the right temporal bone through the sella tucia and the lateral end of the petrous ridge of the left temporal bone. Hinge-type fracture that extended to the left temporal bone and greater wing of the sphenoid, and that extended around the occipital bone at the area of the falx cerebri. There was additional separate fractures of the occipital bone at the falx cerebri, extending into the edges of the foramen magnum. There was subdural hemorrhage of approximately 20 millimeters of clotted blood in the posterior cranial fossa. There was bilateral subhemorrhagoid hemorrhage. The brain was swollen with lacerations of the inferior cervix, left temporal lobe brainstem involving the midbrain, pons medulla and its adjacent cerebral vessels and left cerebellum. There was fracture of the neck. Post-mortem radiology revealed fractures of the occipital condyles. There was additional fractures of the C1 left lateral mass at the occipital condyle, C2 right articular facet, C6 spinal process and C7 vertebrae. Left transverse process. There was misalignment of C1 and occipital condyle whereby the C1 is displaced anteriorly. There was pneumocularis frumina injuries. You get the picture, don't you? It's a mouthful. There we go. Evidence of injury. B. Torso. External examination revealed broad abrasions on the upper back containing black material. There were abrasions showing a combined linear and varus-sized pinpoint around irregular individual patterns involving the left upper back shoulder, posterior left arm and left side of the torso. There were abrasions on the right buttock. There were abrasions with the varus-sized pinpoint to round to irregular abrasions on the side of the left buttock. Internal examination revealed contusions and lacerations of the right and left lungs. There was lacerations of the left pulmonary vessels, left atrium of the heart, spleen, cardia of the stomach. There was soft tissue hemorrhages of the posterior upper chest cavity. There was right hemothorax of at least 700 milliliters. There was left hemothorax of at least 500 milliliters. There was hemopocardium of at least 150 milliliters. There was hemoperitoneum of at least 200 milliliters. There was bilateral upper posterior rib fractures. Post-mortem radiology revealed bilateral scapular fractures. There were bilateral rib fractures involving the right 1 to 5 and 8 ribs at the spinal end head and posterior shaft, and left 2 to 5 ribs at the spinal end head and posterior shaft. There was thoracic vertebral fractures involving the spinal process of T4T to T9 and T11 and transverse process of T1 bilateral and T2 right. There was bilateral pneumothoraces with left side more than right side, also see above injuries. Extremities examination of the extremities revealed abrasions of linear to irregular shapes on the interior right arm and forearm, left eyebrow, left elbow, interior posterior thighs, anterior and posterior right knee, anterior left knee, anterior right leg, anterior lateral left leg, dorsum of the right foot and lateral right ankle, lateral right hip area. There was contusion on the posterior right heel. There was no evidence of fractures on examination in the post-mortem radiology. Internal examination. Organ weights. Brain 1476, heart 385, right lung 464, left lung 411. Liver 1220, spleen 254, right kidney 128, left kidney 126. An autopsy was performed utilising the normal thoracoabdominal posterior coronal scalp incisions. The pleural, pericardial, and the peritoneal cavities had smooth serosal surfaces, and viscera were in their abnormal anatomical positions. An interior neck dissection with internal examination of the underlying muscles, vessels, and structures was performed. Except for the above previously described injuries, the internal systems were as follows. Move on to the next page. Okay. Head. The 1476 GM brain was free of neoplastic lesions. Neck. No abnormality was noted in the anterior cervical muscles, hyoid bone, laryngeal, cardiologist or trachea. Cardiovascular system. The 385 GM heart had a normal configuration with an unremarkable epicardial surface and not moderate amount of epicardial fat. Coronary arteries had no significant atherosclerotic disease. No acute thrombi were present. The left ventricle and septum and right ventricular wall measured 1 centimeters, 1.5 centimeters, and 0.2 centimeters in thickness, respectively. No focal endomyocardial lesions were present. The papillary muscles and chordic tendini were not thickened, and the heart valves were unremarkable. The aorta had no atherosclerosis. The major arteries and great veins showed abnormal distribution, normal. Respiratory system. The larynx and the trachea were unremarkable without foreign object. The pleural surfaces were smooth. The right and left lungs weighed 464 GM and 411 GM, respectively. The pulmonary parenchyma was pink, purple, and congested without lesions or pulmonary emboli. The hepatobiliary system. The 122 GM liver had firm and smooth surface, having mildly yellow tan. Parenchyma without lesion. The gallbladder and the biliary tracts were unremarkable. Then we got the hemolymphatic 244 spleen, had smooth surface, dark purple firm pulp, with no significant lymphadenopathy. Alimentary system. The esophagus, stomach, small bowel, appendix, and colon were unremarkable. The remainder of the stomach content was approximately 40 milliliter of mucoid tan fluid. Pancreas. Pancreas showed an unremarkable tan lobulated pattern. Endocrine system. The thyroid gland had a normal bullet configuration. The adrenal glands were each unremarkable with golden yellow cortices. Genitourinary system. The right and left kidneys weighed 128 grams and 126 respectively. Each kidney had dilated calyces with few cortical cysts. There was no renal stone. There was no changes in the cholesterol system, pelvis, uterus, bladder, prostate gland. Musculoskeletal system. Except for the above noted injuries, all muscles and axial skeleton were free of any significant abnormalities. What was this one? Radiographs. Anterior post-mortem radiographs, together encompassing the head, torso, extremities, were taken, and finding were including in the evidence of injury. There was no radiopac object. Okay, signed April 26, 2024. And I think this is the last piece here. Just zoom in. Board of Metallurgical Investigations Office, yep. Report of laboratory analysis. Okay, Noah Presgrove. Date received, 9th of the 6th, 2023. Material submitted, blood, arteries, urine, liver, brain, hold status 1 year. Submitted by Jason Robert Parks, medical examiner Leonardo Racquero. And then, notes. Okay, alcohol, blood, 0.14. Uterus, 0.18. Carbon monoxide, blood, blank. Test performed, EIA. Femoral blood, amphetamine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, cocaine, opioids, PCP, opioids, benzodiazepines. The does not detect oxymethanol or right. Okay, so it didn't detect that. Did it detect cocaine though? Doesn't seem to say. Results non-detected. Well, I guess there you go. appears to be it there. Hopefully you found that somewhat interesting and of use. Maybe not everyone has seen this, so there's no harm in documenting it, and you get to see it officially, how it was worded by the people that conducted the likes of the autopsy, the lab, and all of that. Leave your comments down below. Feel free to like and share the video if you want to. And I will try and get another video out for later on tonight. Maybe not as many big words used, but, you know, did my best. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.